Alright, everybody, welcome to Trekked.
We're back for another episode.
This is either episode 2, 3, 1, 5. It doesn't matter what episode this is. We don't know.
To 9 by now.
We're trying to record as many as we can before we release, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, so, yeah. We have a pretty fucking great story to tell.
Couple, in fact.
A couple. Because we're going to talk about it was a couple weeks span. How long ago was this? Don't say the date, but how long ago was this recorded, do you think? Probably like 3 weeks ago?
Random guess, 3 weeks.
3 weeks ago. So the stuff that you're seeing right now, which is the us carrying a boat to the water, that's about 3 weeks old. But we did something today that was awesome.
That we also have footage of course.
Of course, it'll come up later. So we were here, and we wanted to explore this. There's an abandoned boat that you told me about.
Yeah. Over in the Genesee River. You're right in Irondequoit there near Rochester. It was very nice. Located right on Google Maps. I mean, you can't get any better than that.
We try not to say exactly the name of all these places, but I mean, you're smart enough, you can figure it out exactly where we were and everything. Like,
as long as you're determined enough and aren't.
As long as you're determined, you know how to search on Google. You know, we're pretty. We say where we're from. We're from Rochester, so like if we're ever at an abandoned place, you can find it almost immediately. If you just type in abandoned places in Rochester, you'll pretty much fucking find it. Like, there's no secret. But like, if you do find these places, we just want to say, like, don't vandalize them.
Yeah,
like,
we do not condone vandalizing.
Like, that's just, like, don't do it, you know? Like, we have done it before, but
in the past.
When we were younger, like 14 years old, like, if you're going to vandalize, you know, just fucking don't. Anyway, so, yeah, we're getting in the water here. I really like these shots that we had, and we've been talking about it would be really cool if we had a GoPro, because, like, we'd be able to just mount it on these kind of situations, like, I don't know how often we're going to canoe to an abandoned place.
Whenever you do something adventurous, you can just mount it. That would make everything so much easier than having to bring a $1,000 camera on the water with you.
Yeah, that was horrifying.
Especially because, as you can see in the video, we're a little bit wobbly at times.
Yeah, and like we're not like loaded with cash, so it's like when we have something that's of value, it's like don't want to fucking ruin it. And especially on water, electronics plus water, everyone knows that that's a nightmare. And rice doesn't work. I don't care who you are.
Whoever said rice works, go fuck yourself. It doesn't work all that well. Yeah. We've all tried it once or twice. Sometimes it works. I feel like it's really just luck of the draw. You know, you might get a.
I'm looking at her notes right now, and I wrote Cuba cock. What the fuck? What does the cock have to do with anything? I know what we're talking about.
I might have thrown a couple Easter eggs into your note just to throw you off.
I was probably supposed to wait until I read that part to see that.
That's all right though.
Cuba
it's funnier that you came across it now.
I'm looking forward to finding those other ones. Anyway, so let's continue on the story. So as you see, we're just paddling down the river. It was a beautiful day out. It was one of the best days of the summer so far.
Absolutely gorgeous. You can tell. Just look at the sky.
I know, seriously. And like, look at the water. I mean, it's just calm.
The yacht club was popping too. There were mad people out there. A little bit of music playing in the background.
Yeah.
Cooking. Lots of barbecues.
There's like a bunch of restaurants along this too. It's a really cool area. I want to go there more often. I mean, it's pretty much right down the road.
A lot of money in the area too, so it's just made for a nice view. Yeah. Especially a very peaceful canoe.
Yeah.
Rarely boats even passed us, surprisingly. Everyone was probably out in the water already.
And we want to mention we were with our friend Dan, who also comes with us on little explorations once in a while. He's been more, I don't know how you'd say active with UrbanX before we were.
He's more active in the community of Urban Explorers, I feel like. He's definitely involved with a lot of different people. He knows a lot of people in the area, knows a lot of locations. So we'll have to throw him a little location credit, because this is actually one of his ideas as well that we just... I knew of it. We both saw this back in 8th grade a long time ago for a field trip, just surprisingly.
Me and Nate, not Dan. We didn't go to school with Dan. Are you getting a phone call?
That's okay.
Okay. Anyway, but yeah, this is not the boat that we were exploring. That was somebody else's boat.
Fuck. I'm sorry, dude.
All right. We were talking about Dan and how...
Oh, right. Really involved with the community. He's a good kid.
Right.
Good kid.
And like we haven't been involved with the community much, honestly, because like we did this shit when we didn't have a name for it. Like we didn't know that it was called Urban Exploration.
There was a name for it.
Yeah. Like I still want to take a picture of where I used to live, the Kenmore House, because it's literally attached to an abandoned building.
Which is perfect, which we explored.
Yeah, which we explored. We found like really old Kodak cameras, like old film cameras, super old, and like
We're
definitely
pulling off
collector's
the fire extinguishers.
Oh yeah, it got right in my fucking eyes. That was horrible. Never, if you and your friends find some fire extinguishers, don't point them at each other and start spraying them. It's horrible.
We advise safety goggles.
Yes, use safety goggles. Always use safety in many situations. All right, so right now we're looking at a bird flying under the bridge. Just for my fucking reference of editing.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah.
You can see the boat in the distance at this point. I mean, it's still a long trek because we don't have any electric motor. Anything at this point. I mean, it's
and Nate was
paddle.
Yeah, and Nate was the only one paddling. So I was holding the camera. Dan was doing, dicking around.
Dan was doing Dan. That's
He's gonna watch this. So. Anyway, yeah, it was cool. I mean, I like this.
Very peaceful.
There's a lot of footage of us just boating there. So I'm gonna skip ahead real quick in the footage to bring you to the boat.
Beautiful trip on the way out. I mean, it was a gorgeous day. So much nice scenery all around us.
Yeah, so here I am zooming in real quick onto the boat. That's itself right there. It says the Spirit of Rochester. I didn't really want to give it away what it was actually called, but it's already out there. If you look up Abandoned Boat Rochester, this is the first thing you'll find.
By the end of this video, you might not want to even go to it. So.
Yeah, do not go there. Do not go there. You will get arrested.
It's not worth it, trust us.
We will tell you exactly what happened, but you just gotta hear us out.
Respect the property,
Seriously.
respect the owner, don't go to it.
Yes, we have a kind of a complex story about our experience, like how we didn't get arrested, how we came so goddamn close to getting arrested, like so close. Like
it was about a 15 to 20 second difference because we were just about to enter.
Yeah.
But where should we start the story? Honestly, do you want to talk more about the boat itself before we continue into our experiences?
Do you have any history on the boat that you'd like to share? Like,
I've got nothing, dude. All I know was it was a dinner cruise ship for a very long period of time.
It's sort of like a party boat kind of deal.
It was some guy who worked at Kodak in Rochester, which, of course, for anybody that doesn't know, was started in Rochester. And he bought a party boat for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But besides that, I mean, we approach it here, you'll see in a little bit, and hit our canoe in a very sly manner, must admit.
God, it's so great. So good. I love how we hit our canoe, because like we didn't plan any of this really. We were just like, let's just go into this boat. We've never been here before, nothing. So like everything was just kind of like making decisions on the spot, and I really like this footage, just up close footage of it. And we actually, here's the disappointment, we didn't get into the boat at all, period. But it didn't even matter. If we had gone onto the boat, we would have been locked up that day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'd be paying quite a bit in bail, I'm sure, because he would have said it was trespassing.
Yeah. It's a real beautiful boat. I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit. I like this shot of the front. It really like makes it look bigger than it really is. I mean, it's a big boat, but it's not the biggest boat I've ever seen. Like, look at that. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely more than a yacht, smaller than a cruise ship, you know?
Yeah. How much do you think that boat would cost brand new?
Couldn't even tell you. I'm sure in the million, honestly, dude. Because I know yachts alone, like a large yacht, 30 or 40 footer, costs over $1 million. So, had to have been in the millions.
Yeah. You know, actually, I don't think there's much more footage of the boat, so I think we should just tell the story.
Let's go for it.
So this dock right here that you see, we slid the boat right underneath to park it, because it's like totally hidden. Like no one would know. I guarantee no one saw us when we were here right now. No one could see us. They knew we were coming in like on the river.
Yeah, they saw us paddling by, but they didn't know where the hell we were. You can see all the cattails to the left there. We were completely hidden.
Oh, I'm wearing the same shorts. What do you know? And the same shirts. I'm wearing literally the same fucking clothes. Probably different underwear. Yep. No. Yeah. Different underwear. Okay. All right. Different underwear. So I think Dan's holding the camera now. Those are Dan's feet. Hey Dan. So yeah, we're just sliding the canoe under, and
takes a little while to hop onto the dock itself, but
yeah.
Once we got up there, I mean, we were a little sketched out only because we could see people. I mean, people had clear view of us.
Real hick-looking people, too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, these people, they have money, first of all, because they're chilling out there, drinking with their nice boats, their nice sailboats, their nice little yachts, if you will.
But they're very loud and...
They're confrontational.
I don't want to say white trash, but...
Leaning towards
sort
that side, though. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a fucking golden star of a person, too. Like, I'm a little, like...
upstanding, but not.
My family's like kind of redneckish. I don't classify myself as a redneck, but I have those kind of tendencies too, so I can't really judge. But they're those kind of people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, this is, I mean, as you saw in the shot right there, or anywhere in here, you'll see the RV real close to us, and that really kind of sketches us out as well, because we didn't know if someone's in there at the moment. They might have been watching us for all we know.
And that bag has all of Nate's fucking camera equipment, and like it's just water all around us. Like it was a little bit risky.
Brand new camera at the time too.
That was your first shoot with it.
Before that, yeah.
It was like his first shoot with a brand new camera. Yeah, look at this. This is so sketchy, but we were so hidden and underneath this dock. I must have set the camera down there for a second.
I was feeling confident at the time. I mean,
me too.
I couldn't see anybody right here.
Yeah.
And you hadn't really looked around you at this point. You were just watching us still.
Right above us, where we enter on the dock, that's where the window was that we could slide open.
Right.
Like we were able to look inside of the boat a little bit. I think I might have filmed it a little bit. I don't remember. We'll see. But yeah. This whole time, I was looking through the reflection because I saw a vehicle parked. It just pulled in. We later talked to the guy, but we'll get to that in a second. But I was like looking at him through the reflection to see if he was trying to confront us. Oh, I think that was all the footage I had of the boat. This is our the story this is where we explored today. We can finish the boat story. Yeah. Let's finish the boat story.
Okay.
So, man, as soon as we got on the dock.
I think I was wearing the same clothes, just to throw that in there. I'm pretty sure, because I definitely had the same shorts, and I saw him, I think I had the same shirt.
We're all wearing the same clothes right now.
Whatever.
Anyway, so we, as we were getting sketched out, we saw this dude in his car, in his truck, actually. It was a white pickup truck, I think, whatever.
I think it was a Jeep. I think it was a white Jeep Wrangler, brand new, so instantly somewhat intimidating. Living in an RV, because it was a nice-ass RV, too. And we saw him pull in as well, so we know he had some presence with us, or had seen our presence to start with. I think you actually said you made eye contact with him at some point.
For a split second, I was like, fuck, I shouldn't have done that.
Instant awkward.
Seriously.
You gotta go with it, and so we did. And our only idea was either option 1, we just hop inside the boat and say fuck it, and we'll see what happens, or option 2, we approach him. See if we can just talk ourselves into it. We're good at bullshit, and then see if we can just kind of shoot with him and see what happens.
And you have the nuts to. You can just approach him and be like.
We look innocent, we don't look sketchy. We don't have spray paint. We don't have crowbars. We have cameras.
Plus,
ourselves.
We don't dress like idiots. And
exactly. Yeah. So we went for it, and we went to talk to who we later found to be known as Sal.
Yep, his name is Sal. So we approached him, talked to him, and one of the first things he said, I mean, we don't remember the conversation exactly, but one of the first things he said was like, "Oh, were you the guys who stole my bike last week?" And he was
he repeated that at least 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, it was like a little kid's bike, nothing special. And he was like, "Listen, if you need my bike, you can just ask me and borrow it and bring it back." But he was like, "Some dickless bastard stole my bike and fucking just left." And that was ridiculous. That was so funny. But then he kept asking us, "Did you steal my bike?"
And he took it to the point where he made us promise. He made us swear.
He made us look him dead in the eyes and say, "Do you promise?" He would look at all 3 of us one at a time. He looked at Nate. "Do you promise?" Nate said, I promise. I promise." The one, but to me, then to Dan, it was hilarious. He was like this Middle Eastern guy, definitely raised in the United States.
Right. Totally, he definitely had his roots still. You could tell. I'm sure he has a lot of family over.
Because he started talking about, "Are you guys Christians?" And we were kind of like, "Oh, sure, yeah." Because we want to say no, we're not religious. Because he's obviously.
It's fun to agree.
He was religious, yeah. Yeah, just kind of nodding like, "Oh yeah, sure." And he's like, "Oh man, I hate that Muslims and Christians can't fucking get along." He's like, "It sucks, man. It sucks." But he was he was
real
cool.
about it though. He was
super real about
it. He wasn't going with the mainstream ideas between the 2 religions. He told us straight up he's Muslim, but he told us his views too. He wasn't self-conscious about his religion and what he thought we instantly viewed him as. He just went with it.
And he was totally open. He said when he was talking about that stuff, I was like, this dude is he's totally religious in his own sect, but he's totally open for other religions too. He doesn't persecute. He's a totally fucking chill guy.
I wish I could remember a couple of the specific examples of what he said, but he was definitely, you could tell just from how he's speaking of himself and his religion. He wasn't judgmental. He was open to. Well, actually, I remember him saying that, especially our generations, just having to be open to all ideas. Like you can't persecute without reading into whatever you may be talking about, especially religion.
And he eventually started talking because his camper is literally like 15 feet from that boat.
Yeah, it was very close.
He was talking about like, man, I hear voices sometimes coming out of that boat.
Jinn.
And the jinn, yeah. Jinn or jinn?
I think it was jinn, yeah.
I gotta educate myself on the Muslim culture.
Definitely.
But he was saying jinn, it's like they're not humans, they're not animals, they're kind of like spirits that like wander the world or whatever. I think that's just like a Muslim belief.
Yeah, it was basically the undead.
The undead, yeah. And he says that he felt like that place was like crawling with that stuff. And this dude's like 28 to 32, 30. I'd say.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and he was totally normal dude. You'd see him down the street and be like, oh, it's just this normal dude. He wasn't like dressed, like in a turban and all that shit,
Well,
he was just a regular fucking dude.
He was definitely towards the higher side of middle class to possibly upper class.
Business owner.
He owned a dredging company, we came to find out.
Yeah.
It was actually in Lake Ontario there. And the kind of funny story, we actually found out that there was a big beach closed down because of the dredging. It was bringing bacteria to the surface, but we knew the owner of the company that was dredging, so it was a funny coincidence.
It was crazy, yeah. Trying to put that in other terms, like, we knew that there was a beach closed because of dredging. And then later, we found out that we met the guy who owns the dredging company. That was cool. That was super cool. We just put that together like an hour ago when we were talking about what to talk about on this podcast. Just for a little behind the scenes meta for you.
Exactly. It's a crazy coincidence. That's all there is to it. Mm-hmm. But he was a cool guy overall. And
it's getting hot in here.
It is getting very hot.
Do you want to open that door?
The alcohol? Sure.
I don't think people are being quiet out there. So. It's good. I'm gonna leave this all in.
Alright.
We're gonna get a nice breeze rolling here. We're gonna be able to spruce up the conversation a little bit.
A fan.
Yeah. So anyway, his name was Sale, and he talked to us for like fucking 15 minutes, talking at us for about 15 minutes. And no, he's a cool dude. If he ever sees this, which I doubt, but if he ever sees this, then
I would love to hear his comments.
I would love to hang out with him. I'd love to fucking just chat with him.
But anyways,
he kept telling us like we kept asking like we were asking him for permission to explore the.
We thought he owned that property.
Turns out he didn't. Yeah.
He was just renting it for the time his company was dredging in the area. So he ended up telling us the owner actually is a dock master. They're referred to, and he owns a bunch of property down, including the property where the boat is, down in that area. His name was George. All he told us, what he left us with, was go use the phone, which at that point we didn't know what the hell he was talking about. Like, go use the phone and dial.
Was there a phone at every dock?
We didn't know what the hell.
We didn't fucking know.
We didn't even know if he was like he had clear accent that was he was speaking clearly to us, Sal. But we didn't know what the hell he's talking about. So all we knew was dial #002 at the phone. Ask for George. That's for about George. It.
Yeah, and he said when we were talking to Sal said like, I'm a friendly guy and you think I talk a lot, but when you talk to George, he's gonna talk about everything. He's going to start talking about his kids, his daughter. He's gonna keep talking. And then eventually we went down. We walked like what was it, quarter of a mile probably.
Had to have been. Because we had to go all the way down the dock, all the way around the driveway, and back up to the
walk through all those people that were watching. So sketchy, quote unquote, white trash people.
Oh yeah, they were drinking. They seemed confrontational, but surprisingly, nobody really talked to us.
Yeah.
Although they
were looking at us. They were giving us weird looks, because we were strangers. We didn't belong there. Because it was a private camp. You had to have a membership.
They were probably wondering where the hell we came from. Because we didn't. Everybody else drove in there. We canoed. And then hid the canoe.
Yeah, they were the Hicks. No, we're the fucking Hicks. But we went all the way across and went under a fence for something or under a little gate.
Yeah, a little gate.
We made our way to what was the main entrance of that little compound. And we asked this woman, like, hey, do you know who George is? And she said, oh, yeah, he's the owner, blah, blah, blah. You can either call him at the intercom system, or you can go to his office, which is the way that we came from. So right then and there, we were given two options. Continue walking and go to the front gate where the little intercom is. If you ever see movies where, like, it's a really rich person has a gate and you pull up to it and a little voice says, what's the password?
Get the little keypad next to you.
Yeah. Well, it was one of those things. And we went up to it.
Gate and everything.
So we had to decide, go to that thing or walk back where he came from into this weird, like, warehouse kind of building.
And so we decided to keep walking and go to the intercom. So we dialed this number, which was like *16 or something like that.
Yeah, 002, I think. But whatever.
Yeah, 002. That was right. That was it. Yeah, 002, *002, whatever. And he picks up. He's like, yeah. It was just like a really shitty intercom. Yeah. And Nate asked him, like, the most professional and polite way that you can possibly ask somebody. He's like, do you mind if we film the Spirit of Rochester? And he was like, no, I want you off the property now. Something along those lines. He was like, no, fuck you, get out.
Like, it was a 10-second conversation. I had no chance to even give him some information. Like, we were honestly not there to vandalize, and I was ready to prove that point. I was ready. He could have monitored us. You know, we're here to film and to explore, not to vandalize. But he didn't believe us, and I mean,
he hung up on us.
Yeah, the long and short of it, he hung up instantly, and we didn't even call back at that point. Like, I didn't even know what he said. He spit out some garble real quick, and then click, and that was it.
I'm pretty sure I heard, like, no, get out. Like, that's pretty much all I can make out. Get off the property. Something like, I want you out now or something like that. You know, it's just like, you could just tell with the tone that it was not okay to be there anymore. But then we had to walk all the way across to his property to get back to our boat.
Right, our boat is still on his property, even though he just said, no, get out. So we're kind of in a dilemma there.
Yeah. So what we had to do, we just had to walk back to where our canoe was, and right a few feet away from Saul's camper, I was about to say trailer. Camper. There was this guy in this like really nice looking pickup truck, and we stopped to talk to him, to ask him if he knew any information about the boat, because we were just trying to gather any information. And this dude was so weird. He was an old dude. I would say 65, 60,
60, yeah.
60. I was
like
like 60.
50s, maybe 60.
He could still move around and function and
easily
work on shit. He was just weird. He had a bunch of really expensive looking rings on, some jewelry.
Nice looking truck. It was an older truck, but it was
he kept it up.
Well kept. Very well kept.
And he never gave us his name, which is like the coolest part.
We refer to him as the unknown man.
Yeah, or the nameless crook, because
the nameless crook.
Because he told us he was teaching us like life lessons and stuff about like you can become rich, you can have all the money you want, you just have to work. You could find work anywhere.
Manipulate. I feel like
he was such a manipulative motherfucker. Because like one of the first things he said to us that like really led us to believe that he was kind of a crook was he was a plumber or something, and he went into this house and he found this box of old coins, and he said that he took them, he just stole them from this house, and he appraised them, and they were worth $250,000.
Yeah, some crazy amount. I mean, he might have been stretching a little bit, but still, the fact that I'm sure he really did find them. He said he found them in the attic or basement. I don't know where the hell it was, but found these old ass coins, get some appraised, and they're worth money. So he didn't make the owners aware. So we already knew he was, nameless crook.
And he said like there's money to be made anywhere. Like you go to a junkyard and you can, if someone has an old car that doesn't run, you'd be like, hey, I'll give you $200 for it, and the dude will just sell it immediately.
Right. He was talking about in the middle of a farmer's field, if you see some piece of machinery sitting there, you can instantly just go up to the door, knock on it, and say, hey, mind if I take a few pieces? I'll give you $100, $200, whatever. And so he was definitely one to find money. It doesn't matter if you're contracted to find it or if you're just finding it free will, he will find the money.
And then the story started to get a little foggy. Yeah. He said that when he was younger, around our age or in his 30s, he went to Cuba when it was still like not supposed to be in Cuba, before the trade embargo was lifted recently, and he said that he got involved with human trafficking. He didn't want to say it like totally.
He
totally
didn't
like
say
that.
It straight out. He definitely kind of.
Yeah, he said he said he was involved with the black market, but then he said something about like all those underage girls, they sell real nicely down there. It's like, what the hell, dude?
It was when he said he wanted to get out of it though.
Oh yeah.
Which really said, okay, so you were in it. You're implying that you were in it at some point.
Yeah. He said he didn't feel good about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because his friends were into it.
He was very vague about the whole thing. Like he explained, we knew exactly what he's talking about, but he didn't really describe his position in the whole thing.
So this dude was involved probably with either prostitution or human trafficking.
One or the other, or both.
One or the other.
A mixture of the two.
Could be both. That's some crazy shit.
But he definitely even though there were some pretty dark subjects that he brought up, he definitely spread like a feeling of success over us.
I had an overall positive. No matter how dirty and crooked that guy is, I still like learned something about like success from
Absolutely.
him. Like you just gotta, it's out there. He's got fun.
It was the American dream.
Yeah, dude, definitely. To move to Cuba and prostitute underage girls. Yeah, that's the American dream. Fucking crook. The fucking piece of shit. I loved him though.
Yeah, he had his ups and downs.
Yeah, but after that we just walked back to the Spirit of Rochester to try to get into it, and I slid the window open that we could crawl through. And like 10 seconds later, a truck pulls in. I thought it was gonna be Sal pulling in, but
unfortunately,
sure enough, it was this little short, fat, bald guy comes crawling out, and we're like, "Who is this?" With glasses. He's like, "Get the fuck!" He just starts like getting so pissy and like serious at us.
He was to the point where he just wanted us to jump in the water. He didn't care where the hell he came from.
Exactly.
He just wanted us to
swim down the river. Get the fuck out. He was swimming.
Sing for all he cares.
It was George. That was George.
Good old George.
Yep. And Nate was like, eventually, George. He is not an angry person. He's not a confrontational person.
He didn't want to be. Anyway.
Yes, but he was put his foot down, you know. And we let him kind of simmer a little bit, and then Nate gave him a good line of bullshit, saying that we were from U of R, University of Rochester, like really prestigious school for photography, trying to document this place.
Feed him some lines.
And he was still being pissy, but we were breaking him down. He was a very easy person to. He's
a conversationalist,
yeah.
And he didn't want to get rid of us once he found out that we could have a conversation too.
He kept us there for a while. And eventually, the start of the conversation was him trying to kick us out and us trying to like explain ourselves so he didn't call the cops. And then as we were like talking to him and stuff, me, Nate, and Dan got into the boat and we're trying to canoe away, but the dude is still talking to us. It's like, and we were like, okay, let us fucking go now, please. Let us get the fuck out, like you asked.
My paddle was literally in the water. We were unroped from the dock, and you're still talking.
Exactly.
To us.
You know when like you bump into a friend, like at a convenience store or something from like high school, and like you say, "Oh hey, what's up?" and like you're still walking in opposite directions, like, "Oh dude, not much," but you're still like drifting, and you're trying to just end the conversation. It was like that.
Except it kept going.
It just kept fucking going.
It got to the point where I remember my last words to him were, "Hey, do you actually know?" Because we didn't want to paddle all the way back to that boat ramp.
Right.
So we were like, "Do you know if we could undock somewhere, or if we could dock up somewhere else, so we could just like bring the SUV over, cut our trip a little shorter?" And he actually invited us to dock up near his boat, which he lived on a houseboat. This man, just to give you a little background on him, which we found out a little later, he was in the Coast Guard for like 30 years. I mean, this
super
dude,
loaded guy.
Oh, he has his credentials. We'll say that much at least. And in the short of it, probably due to our conversation with him, he let us dock up right near his boat there in a little grass patch.
We became like friends. Like we made a really good inroad with him.
Yeah, he went from aggressive when he first approached us to passive aggressive
to super friendly.
Just a friend. He's just
offering us everything.
From stranger to friend in 10 minutes.
Okay, so we pulled into it that little docking area that he allowed us to use, which is like totally private. That first thing he hooked us up with. We pulled our canoe out, and Nate, we needed a ride back to our vehicles because they're about a mile away, let's say.
We could walk, but it would
take forever. It was super hot out. We were tired. And
so sure enough, George pulls up right after we docked up too. And I didn't even hear him, actually. I was still getting the canoe up, and you guys heard him say,
"Yeah, I heard him.
I can give you a ride down real quick."
I was like, "Nate, you should go." Yeah.
Well, hell yeah, it's gonna, it's a 10th of the time it would take me to walk. So he gave me a ride down there, and this guy, just to give you a little visual on what was happening, he's in a white cargo van, shit everywhere, just papers all over the freaking thing, and he drove on the sidewalk. He drove on the sidewalk the entire way to our car, which was already surprising. But then he starts explaining his position, and the fact that he's a dockmaster, which I don't know exactly what that entails. But
that means he owns that entire strip of the river.
Right. He basically controls it anyway. Like he is the security. He is the landlord, if you will, for the whole area.
Yeah.
And, I just remember being on the sidewalk, and there was an old lady in, like, a little handicap cart, and she's just cruising along, and he just, like, at first he's, like, you could see him under his breath, like, I'm gonna pass the lady, he's not saying anything out loud, though, and he just, like, whips the van onto the grass a little bit, whips by her, pulls back on the sidewalk, and continues on his way. Like it was nothing. It's like, dude, this lady's freaking handicapped. He
owns
just, like,
the
ran her off the sidewalk.
He can never get arrested there. He can do whatever the hell he wants. He was the top guy in the area.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He owned.
He was in with Border Patrol.
A 5 mile radius. He just owned it.
He couldn't get in trouble. There's no doubt about it.
And he owns the waters too. crazy. That's a crazy guy to meet up with like that.
Absolutely.
And first it was hostile shit. So, but we didn't know him. You know, okay. Let's think about this. As hostile as he was right in the beginning of our interaction, if we knew that he was like that powerful of a person, how differently do you think we would have reacted to it?
I feel like I would have been scared, to be honest. Like, knowing how much power he had, and he could have instantly. I'm sure he had.
We wouldn't have lied to him. We wouldn't have lied to him.
He probably knew we were bullshitting.
But I think he might have. If he knew, he probably appreciated how collected we were. Because when we lie about like trying to get out of these like situations, we're fucking good at it.
It's not stupid lies. They're pretty good lies.
We're good, and Nate is super quick with this shit. He's just like
bullshitter.
You can just come up with stuff like, I'm like, how did you just do that? Because it's not like shit that's like so out of the ordinary that it's like, oh, obviously that's a lie, but it's like such believable stuff.
Yeah, it was this college class at UB. It was like some bullshitting 101 or something like that. Tell me a lot. I gotta tell you that much.
That's funny. But so he dropped Nate off. Nate picked us up, and that was pretty much the end of that journey.
Do you remember what you picked me up, or what I picked you up with? A whole handful of recruitment.
Yeah, the dude was trying to recruit
me. He was trying to recruit me into the freaking Coast Guard, and I'm just trying to get a ride back to my vehicle. But it didn't take that long, to be honest. He was very polite about it. He wasn't pushy like a lot of recruiters.
You got kind of lost, didn't you? You just couldn't find us.
Yeah, I got lost while I was driving. I just kept turning down the wrong.
But then as soon as you called us, you found your way.
Yeah. It was almost like I just had to hear your voice and be like, oh, there you go. I'm coming, don't worry. It was like Lassie chasing after a kid that fell in a well. Lassie the dog.
Yeah, I know. The whole fucking black and white show. I've actually never watched an episode of that in my whole life, but I know about it. See, isn't that weird? Like, we know about all these old shows, but we never watched them. You know, like...
It's like Disney.
The Andy Griffith Show?
Oh,
me and my brother watched a full episode of it. It's actually hilarious.
It's very funny. It's that classic humor.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can really, like, sense the different types of humor through the ages. Like, Andy Griffith kind of humor, black and white, Three Stooges slapstick, and then, like, late 80s and 70s humor where it's kind of like one-liners.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it turned into. That was the style for quite a while.
Yeah. Like, modern comedy is kind of... It's kind of a spectrum, though. There's all, like, the Will Ferrell kind of slapstick.
They lead you into it. You already know what's going to be funny before you watch it, I feel like. And some movies... I'm not speaking for all movies and all media to cover my bases, but there's just so many things that it's predictable. And, it can get annoying, but...
Easy humor.
Yeah.
See, I get offended sometimes when... movies are too easy, because then it's like, are you just trying to are you saying that your audience is stupid?
Right.
Like,
are you leading me into this because you don't think I can lead myself into this?
But there's super smart comedy too, where it's like you have to really think about the shit. And I'm not saying smart comedy that's like super referential kind of stuff for only things that like art majors will understand, like art jokes and shit like that. I'm not talking about that, but it's just like the kind of humor where it's you set it up as like you're telling a story, and you're never going to know how that story's going to end, but the ending of that story is going to refer back
always connects
to the early parts, and it's going to totally twist it around in your head and just like totally mindfuck you. But I mean,
the mindfuck.
It can become kind of convoluted though. Like if a comedian like lays out their joke like as a format, say like how like rhymes are formatted like ABA or
that makes sense.
AA, B, C, B, C. Like, where it's kind of like that kind of format. Like, comedians can do that with, like, the subject of the joke and, like, when it's going to turn and stuff. It can just get way too convoluted. Or it's like, I'm not going to sit and wait for a 10-minute joke.
You don't want to make the connections anymore. Yeah. You just, like, move on.
You just get tired. You're, like, exhausted mentally. You're like,
especially when it's a lame topic, which there's many out there.
That happens so much. But anyway, after we talked with George, we were driving... Okay, so where are we now?
We're
in your vehicle.
Yeah, I'm coming to get you.
Now we're in Nate's vehicle now.
Load up the canoe, everything.
Yeah, we load the canoe, and this is like the funniest thing. As soon as we're pulling out, Nate's driving, I'm in the passenger seat, Dan's in the back. We're driving down this little tiny street, and fucking George is like behind us or something.
So he beeped at us.
He beeped at us. Yeah, he beeped to like stop us, and we pulled over, and then sure enough, fucking Sale comes driving past us. He rolls his window down. He's like, "See what I said? See, I told you George would talk." And he's like, "See?" And he started laughing and just kept driving.
And he didn't even know what we just went through. That whole...
Seriously.
Oh my god. Everything we just told you, and Sal has no idea.
We're never going to see Sal again.
Unfortunately.
But we had that arc of who he was. We met him. There was time in between where he mentioned George. We then met George. And then later, Sal comes back in after we met George and throws it in our face. That like, dude, oh, see, I told you George is that kind of guy. But he didn't see all that shit when he was yelling at us.
Dude, that's like a connection to what you just said about comedians. Yeah. Like, they tell their whole story and then end up referring to something in the beginning. And it was perfect.
It's a perfect story.
Better, honestly.
It's a perfect story. It's such a fucking awesome
story. They were all great characters, too. Every single person we met had
their
own personality. It was just perfect. It was perfect.
Sal, George, the nameless crook.
The nameless crook. He was probably one of the... He was a highlight. They were all highlights. I don't even know who I liked the most, honestly.
Dude, they all fit perfectly.
They all brought their own stories to the table.
Seriously.
Completely different.
And, like, think about this. If the nameless crook wasn't there, we would have been on that boat when George came. Because he distracted us for, like, 10 minutes.
It's fate.
Fate, honestly.
If we would have been on it, he might have seen from a distance we were on it and called the cops and ended it there.
Yeah.
We don't even know.
Yeah, like I always say, like, I think our fate was decided when that woman told us either call George on the phone or walk to his office, and then we chose to talk to him on the phone. We made the right decision because we were talking to him on the phone to ask permission to get onto the boat.
Right.
And that is where our fate was sealed for the rest of the day.
It could have made a world of difference. If we would have went back to the office, as she was saying, then we would have just said screw it because the office was closed, went to the boat, got caught by the cops.
Exactly.
End of story.
And so pretty much the only thing I could say after we met with Saul the second time is
Saul.
Saul. Sorry,
you call him that during the first part of this too.
Saul. Oh, I
was laughing silently to myself.
It's sail, like sailboat.
Not Saul like Pineapple Express.
Or Saul Goodman. I almost bought a bowling ball the other day at Goodwill.
I almost bought bowling shoes the other day.
Are you serious?
I was looking them up on Amazon and the whole thing, dude.
That's funny. I found a bowling ball at Goodwill. It was perfect. It fit my hand. It wasn't too heavy. It wasn't too light.
It was fake.
It was just like, I should have bought it. It was only like $10. not even. Why didn't I buy it? It's probably still there. Who the hell buys a bowling ball at Goodwill?
Yeah. Unless it was one of the old ladies that like hides it and waits for the colors to change. You know, the little 50% off.
My brother worked there for a while.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Olivia Reddick still works there. She's a shoe lady.
She works there? Yeah. At the Opera one?
Yeah.
Olivia Reddick.
She's alright.
Yeah.
We should probably blur her name out. At least the last name.
Yeah, I'll cut that out. I'll like jarble it up. I'll make it like a robot voice. I'll just use that. I'll use that sound clip. I'll use that sound clip to replace it.
Hilarious.
But I'm gonna leave all this part. All this in. Anyway, Tilt to Kill. Anyway, I continue the story. I ate the beef stew. Yes. I got home. Well, to Nate's place. We played poker. Me, Nate, and Zach. We love poker. And as we were playing, I was just ripping the worst parts.
Oh,
they were just like brutal.
I thought you were gonna ask for a new change of underwear at some point.
Every time I farted, I apologized. Like, it was a sincere, like, guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I just farted. And then, like, 3 seconds later, they're like, oh God, oh my God.
All I can think was you realize there's a tenant upstairs that is probably dying from your stench right now.
Through the ceiling, she could definitely smell it. I'm not even exaggerating. It was horrible. I felt ashamed of myself. I was actually ashamed. Is there something back there?
Dude.
Is that my couch?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
basically,
if you're gonna get tilted killed, don't get the beef stew.
Yeah. Go with pasta or burger or something.
Yeah, anything normal.
Or just beer. Get beer and chicken wings. Be a fucking normal human being.
Get beer, hit on some waitresses, go home, regret spending $20
and regret bringing home one of the waitresses.
Alright. So here's some footage. This is the first thing I started recording today. This was earlier today. Nice bright sunny day out.
Oh, it was gorgeous.
Perfect.
Great day. It's still a great day out.
It's been perfect for a week. We've had perfect weather for about a week.
After having rain for like 2 weeks, so it's
exactly.
a nice perk. Western New York sucks. But sometimes we get our perks.
This is the first real part of summer, I feel. Like summer is.
And now it's about to end. It's almost August.
I know. Seriously.
It sucks.
Like, look at this place. It looks like kind of like a school. It looks like a school from a distance. What was it actually though?
Originally, it was an asylum. It was actually a asylum for Orleans County, and then they changed the county line, so now Monroe County is. This is physically in Monroe County in Rochester, and then it was changed into the Rochester State Hospital. That's basically what it stayed at. It was a state hospital when it closed, behind the story.
And it's an unknown building year. Like, no one knows what year it was built, but it was used in 1891.
Right, because I don't have the records from originally when it was an asylum when that opened up, but it opened for operation, 1891. So it's old as shit, that's for sure.
Get a little closer to somebody.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I keep leaning back.
You're good right there, though. So yeah, that's 25-ish years after the Civil War. I'm pretty sure.
A couple decades after. That's pretty amazing.
Not very far off.
There was definitely some history in it, no doubt about that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of wrongdoing, excuse me, inside of this building, and a lot of healing done at the same time. So it's a pretty interesting mixture of feelings.
Because medicine back then was somewhat primitive still. Like, doctors were trying to help people, but they just didn't have the answers. They didn't have the medicine.
Their cures for mental illness were hydrotherapy,
fresh air,
painting, and yes, fresh air. Like, they didn't have any physical remedies, let alone cures.
Yeah. I cut to us inside here. The floor was filthy. In either our previous episode or the next episode, whatever one's about Kings Park, I somewhere described the floor was like when you chew gum for too long, it becomes newspaper, that kind of thing. Imagine just like a ton of newspaper soaked in water for a year and then thrown on a cement
floor.
floor.
You can see it right here too. Hopefully this is synced up and it's just mush. It's
totally
disgusting.
mush. It's like mashed potatoes.
Like instant mashed potatoes too, because there's no chunks. It's just like straight disgusting
Yeah.
consistency.
Absolutely disgusting. And
we only had to walk in it for 100 feet, around that corner and then down the hallway, and then once you're to the stairwell, everything's pretty decently clean.
And there's about an inch of water too. It was kind of splashing. I still have some on my legs. It's really gross.
I just remember saying you have to roll your feet. You have to kind of roll the arches.
Yeah, it's like marching band.
Yep. Try not to splash it up on yourself.
Exactly, because we were both in marching band. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You live and you learn.
Exactly.
I think this is exactly where we mentioned it too.
Yep, I think it was too.
Oh yeah, like the big fucking pipe. Yeah. But it was cool. When you explore enough random abandoned buildings, like a lot of them have so many similarities.
Especially if they're from the same time frame. I mean, they're going to be very similar in characteristics.
Because that's where like architecture was at the time, and yeah.
But I mean, once we went up, it was the first floor was really dark because they boarded up all the windows to try to prevent people like us. So so it was all boarded up and you really couldn't see anything without a flashlight. So we ended up just turning back and going up to the second and third floors, and a lot of interesting stuff. Very empty. Not a lot of graffiti, which is a nice perk.
Yeah, seriously.
As I say that.
And look here, you see the Jizo. I don't even know how to pronounce it, but that's one of our acquaintances in Rochester. Yeah. Should we say her name?
We'll leave it out for now. We'll leave it out until we
for
possibly have an interview.
But to you, hello. It's been cool talking to you. I filmed a lot of that. I found it everywhere. I was
they definitely.
She put it everywhere, but it's not destructive. She's not putting it like. She's not spray painting it.
Of her name,
it's just like a couple inches, whatever. Who cares?
It's respectable.
This is cool. I love this. This wheelchair inspired me. I was like, this is like someone obviously set that up for a photo.
Actually, it was me.
It was you?
The day before.
The day before. Yeah, that was obviously set up for a photo. You could tell it was just perfect position. Yeah, I didn't chop up the recording really. It's just this the entire time. It made it really authentic because the camera, it was just in front of me the entire time I was exploring it. It was all fresh for me. I've never been there before. So the camera really did follow the little adventure that I had personally, and Nate was guiding me on it. So it was a good tour. It was really good. It was quick. It was to the point.
It was a quick exploration, quick adventure for sure.
Yeah, this broken record right here, kind of double meaning, double entendre.
There's like 4 records there too.
Yeah, exactly. I kept looking outside because I was like, I really like to see all the vines crawling up these old buildings. That's one of the prettiest things. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the hallways.
Oh, there she is again.
Yep.
She's everywhere. The
little
heart.
Hallways are kind
the little heart. You're like, you know it's a girl
with a little scribble in her.
Yeah.
Very feminine.
That's so funny. I like that. It's cute. One thing I would do differently with my camera is, you see how like when it gets bright, it focuses on the brightness. It like auto adjusts the exposure.
Mm-hmm.
I might want to. I don't know. For this purpose, it's where it works.
I think it's called white balance, because I know I turned that off on my camera and it helps a lot. Auto white balance. If you turn that off, it just kind of like doesn't focus on the light anymore.
Yeah, the white balance refers to the temperature of the picture. There's two extremes of temperature. There's the blue, which is cold, and then hot, or the red, which is hot. So like when you turn off auto white balance, you have to find that. And like if you're filming, like say you're filming in my room, it's gonna be naturally warm because my light is kind of like a yellow regular light.
Right. It's
gonna have a warm temperature, but you can crank that temperature down and make the room look bluish, give it that tint. Right. It's used a lot in filmmaking, like in movies. If there's a scene where it's like a battle or a war, either physically like an actual war happening, or if it's like two characters with this like very violent interaction, it's going to most likely be a cold temperature, especially if there's no real conflict going on, but it's more of like a subtle kind of thing. But then if it's like a romantic scene, it's going to be very red, very, very warm colors.
Same with if there's like high action going on. I feel like they give you that warmer feel. They want you to feel heated about the situation.
Yeah.
I love this shot.
Oh yeah, it was like just
focuses on the room, focuses on the wall.
Yeah, that was a total accident. I just left it on autofocus and just let it do its thing. Yeah, like there. Whoosh, like last second it focused.
That little orange sticker on the table. Very cool.
And I just come right back in. Yeah, this place is really cool. We're definitely going to go back there.
Oh yeah. We have to do a deeper exploration. Yeah. Supposedly there's tunnels in the bottom of it, so that'd be nice to find.
I just wanted to zoom in here, or not zoom in, but like peek in on the windowsill and see all the crud, all the grossness, just for the definition, just kind of show off the camera.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. This is cool. That's awesome, right? It's like sweet. A little.
That'd be a nice picture to start with.
It's like a little noose. And I just kind of I pulled out and down away from it, and then just came back with the camera. Yeah, this is cool. See, the thing is, like, this all happened so fast. We didn't really plan this very well. We were just like, let's just go.
It was the last minute thing.
Because we planned to do it yesterday, but then yesterday we ended up going to the beach.
Cookout.
Yeah, with Nate's girlfriend and his girlfriend's friend, and it was a good time. Just the four of us, and we got there about 4:00, right?
Yeah, it has to be around there somewhere.
It was around 4. So we watched the sunset on a pier, like on the lake, Lake Ontario, and had a little cookout. It was a good time.
It was a good time, for sure.
Yeah.
Drank a couple beers.
Absolutely would do it any day of the week.
Absolutely. Oh, it's just been so nice. Like we said earlier, so nice this whole week.
Yeah. We just got ice cream, walked around the pier. What a perfect little day, It's just a perfect little thing to do.
Great way to end the day, for sure.
Yeah. How did we end that night? We
talked for a while.
We sat on the beach, like actually at the lake. There were a couple. Okay, we tried to make a little fire, but we couldn't get it going because we weren't prepared. We weren't thinking about making fire before. We just like, let's gather some twigs and use a piece of charcoal and light a fire. We couldn't get it going, so we all just ended up sitting at the beach, drinking a little bit of beer, and a couple groups of people like walked by us, and like we kind of like talked to them, and like they responded. Like eventually we started hanging out with this like group of people, like 8 fucking kids. There's 4 of us.
All 8 dudes too.
Yeah, 8 dudes. They just
with 2 girls and then 8 dudes just like walking around. So.
And they're totally friendly because they're drunk. Everyone's friendly when they're drunk.
Friendly, exactly. It wasn't like the normal conversationalist. It was let me put your dog.
Hey man, it's so cool, dude. What's your name, man? Bro, shit. It was that, but it was cool. I still enjoyed it because I was drunk too. I wasn't drunk, but I was drinking.
Buzzed.
It was a fucking great day though. That was cool. Anyway, and then because when I contacted you yesterday, you asked me if I wanted to go to this place.
Right.
But then we said, let's go to the beach, and then we're like, let's just save it for tomorrow, which is today.
And it worked out.
It worked out.
I wouldn't have wanted to do it yesterday, because yesterday was beautiful, and we both really wanted to go outside, so...
Yeah, and it would have gotten dark out, and...
No, this was a quick exploration. Like we said a million times, we did it today, and we're already talking about it now, so it was quick and easy.
Yeah. I can't even believe we did this today. Like, just looking at this footage, it's amazing. It's like, this happened earlier today. Right. Yeah, it feels like it happened so long ago.
Yeah, a lot of these hallways are pretty repetitive.
Yeah.
Bathrooms and dormitories.
That's pretty much what it came down to. So, do you think these were for the patients?
Yep, these were all patient dormitories. I think this is the male ward, but they're...
This is the female bathroom.
Oh, is this female?
This is the woman's bathroom. I remember walking into this.
Yeah, there were two of the hallways were females and 2 were for the males. And then the middle section is living area and kitchens and stuff.
That bathroom door, the stall was closed. So I was thinking to myself, like, someone's in there. Someone's pooping.
You see her turd drop into the water.
I would be horrified. I would have ran out of there. Anyway.
Not because you were scared of what was inside, but you were scared that it was going to stink you out.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was just a pretty fucking cool place. It was small, but it was
small.
Big enough. It was totally... Just the fact that this place is totally abandoned. Like, you know there's resources in here that they could come in and salvage and make money off of. Like,
no doubt. Like, they could probably open this back up with not that much renovation. I know it looks rough, but honestly...
$100,000.
Oh, yeah. Maybe $1 million at most. And which, to them, to start a whole new complex isn't that much. That is a small price to pay for renovation.
Yeah, but then the asbestos in the walls and ceiling, that cost a lot to remove. I remember when I was going to college at FLCC, they were taking all the asbestos out the whole time I was there. And that was in like 2012 and 13.
Yeah. It's a great material. It really is. It's just, if it goes airborne, it can kill you. So.
Yeah, it's alright.
And people still use it for siding, and it's a great material. It's very strong, very durable, but as soon as it gets hit with a baseball and you breathe it in, then you have mesothelioma 10 to 15 years later.
Oh, also, if you're not into urban exploration and you plan on getting into it, wear a respirator.
Yeah, buy a respirator. It's $20. Just wear it.
Yeah. It could be one of the $3 ones that just look like a little mask that goes on your face, or you can buy a good one that like Nate has. He has the full like
gas mask,
spray paint looking gas mask. You buy those. Seriously, it's worth it.
Because you don't want to end up with mesothelioma, and especially if you can't sue somebody to get the money, like you see on those commercials. Because you're not gonna be able to, because you did it yourself.
You were trespassing.
You know, if you could do it and sue someone for $2 million, hell yeah,
go for it. If your dad's a lawyer,
if you have someone that can sue for free, then why not? Yeah, but a lot of these fire doors were closed up too.
Look at that. It's
very clear. Such a crisp picture.
If you look closely in that reflection, you can see I'm wearing one of the cheap respirators. Oh, this dirty glove I found.
I remember looking back and seeing you take that shot and started laughing.
Yeah, right here you were laughing. You're like... This place is so well lit too. We should... Okay, if you're gonna go urban exploring, go during the day. Save yourself the trouble.
And look at some of these shots. Like we'll throw in a couple of snapshots that I took too.
Oh yeah, you took
the
some
natural
great
light
pictures. Yeah.
Oh, you can't beat natural light in an abandoned place. So for some reason, it's just like those neutral colors with the nice light makes a perfect picture. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's its own genre of photography.
Yeah, seriously. Anyway, we paused real quick for a second. It's not going to seem like that we paused at all because I'm going to edit this all out. But after the last thing we just said, we paused for a second and we started, having our chit chat, whatever. There's some stuff going on in real life that we had to confront. But we actually want to take this time to actually talk about ourselves more. Oh yeah, look at this. This is interesting. We were trying to find a way to do an infinite loop, and it's definitely possible. I can zoom into that and keep looking at it, but I just got to adjust the brightness, the exposure, and the focus.
It'll take a little bit of practicing, but we'll figure it out.
But anyway, we wanted to give the audience a little more...
Take you back in time a little
Take you back in time. On this little cruise. We're going to take you on a love cruise. Imagine you're on one of those little swan boats going through a love canal. But instead of a little love canal, it's just like a big gaping hole, and then it says "Our hole. Life." Okay, so Nate and I, Trevor, we have been friends since 4th grade, 5th grade.
Long time.
I moved into the school district. You went to Kendall.
I've always gone to Kendall.
Yeah. I went to a town over, and then my parents moved. I was my first 7 years of life were in a trailer park. And then I finally moved out of the trailer park into the kind of country, like a normal house, like a farmhouse, a 1-story, and surrounded by fields.
Ranch
house. Yeah, there it is. And I moved to the school district, and me and Nate became friends in like 4th, 5th grade or something. And every morning my mom would leave super early to go to work. My dad would leave super early to go to work. And they didn't want to leave me home alone to get onto the bus. So they would drop me off at Nate's house because his mom would be there.
So by nature, became best friends.
Yeah, so we became best friends. And we would play RuneScape together, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas.
Great game.
I remember we watched porn together, Barely Legal. You remember that?
Oh yeah, very good.
We didn't watch it in
full
speed.
Room.
We were scared to watch it in full speed though. Remember we fast forwarded it?
I don't think I do remember that.
We were so scared that we fast forwarded it. Anyway, we
skipped to the good parts.
Skipped to the good parts, yeah. I feel like I saw that video like recently.
I
felt really nostalgic about it. I was like, I feel nostalgic about porn. This is not healthy. But anyway, so like we were young kids. We would just fuck around, what young kids do. Is when you're in 6th grade, 5th grade, it's like you're not really getting into trouble. You're just kind of hanging out and stuff like that. But anyway, when 9th grade came along, our friend group was then me, you, and our friends Riley and John. And we had a study hall together. It just so happened to be like that. And our study hall was like sort of like an extended period, wasn't it? It was like lunch and then 2 periods of study hall, like 2.
Or was it go to lunch in the middle? I think we went to lunch in the middle.
It was like a split period. It was like lunch or study hall for half an hour, lunch for half an hour, and then that same study hall for the second half an hour. So we had like this hour and a half where it was just us 4 just dicking around, and every time we'd be in our teacher's class. It was in our math teacher was our study hall room. We would get into a room and we would just throw all 4 of our desks together and just little clump in the back corner, try to like get furthest away from the teacher that we can be, so we can talk about bad things. We talk about
and drinking and smoking, of course.
Yeah, smoking weed, not cigarettes. When we were in 9th grade or so, like we just kind of dabbled in that stuff. We definitely drank. We still do. I'm drinking right now, but we would just put our groups together and like we would just plan for the weekends and stuff like that. And like that, I don't know. That's kind of just the kind of person we were. Like we weren't like super popular in high school, but we also weren't like the weirdos.
Right.
We were like right in the middle.
We had our own friend group.
We were right in the middle. We were just like the middle guys. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Can you think of any specific stories? I got one that comes to mind.
Peanut Lopes. That's all that comes to my mind.
Or before that was 10th grade, I think, because that was Brandon. Our friend Brandon. I would say 9th grade at your place.
Oh no.
UV blue, UV orange.
That was like one of our first times heavily drinking.
Seriously, like, do you want to tell the story?
We polished it off, dude. All I remember it was me, you, and Riley. Yep. 3 9th grade fucking
14-year-olds. 3 14-year-olds.
And my brother bought us the handles of both UV blue and UV orange. We drank it. We drank all of it.
Yes. So, one of the first memories I have from that night was getting the alcohol, going back to Nate's place, drinking a lot of it. We went outside. It was middle of the night, and it was probably a Friday night, Saturday night maybe. Probably Friday night. And,
we gotta fucking end it, dude. I gotta fucking
You gotta
this
go?
out.
Alright.
I want to finish this one tonight, but I need to fucking figure this out before we continue.
Alright. Now that we just saw a child die on the internet.
That was pretty intense.
Anyway, dude, on Reddit, man, it has the worst shit. People say 4chan has horrible shit, but 4chan has real fucking meme-y ass shit. Like, they just, same shit over and over again. Like, oh, make fun of autistic kids, oh, blah, blah, blah. Reddit, some fucked up stuff. You go to you go to subreddit, what the fuck subreddit? Okay. There's subreddits like Watch People Die, Pretty Dead Girls subreddit. Like, what the fuck, dude? People are fucked up. Look at the shot. I like the shot.
Yeah, I like
Change the subjects. What were we just talking about? We were talking about high school.
Yeah.
How we all used to get together and get drunk. Anyway, the story that like all 3 of us are hanging out with UV blue, UV orange. Went outside and I remember like Riley was like, "Oh, it's Cujo!" And, like he scared us all. We all ran back to Nate's place because we were at Nate's parents' house at the time.
Terrified.
Yeah, it was hilarious. And we got back inside, and I remember I played drums for like a second, and then shit started getting sour. all of a sudden
we started getting the classic symptoms of alcohol poisoning, it seemed like. I mean, we were young, we polished off vodka, large bottles of vodka, especially fucking me and Riley were just dead, dude. All I remember is sitting down on the floor, and that's about where it ended.
I remember it very clearly because I was drunk, but I was the babysitter at the time because like they were both way too drunk, so
we were wasted. It was bad.
Nate was laying down on the kitchen floor, and I gave him like a little pillow to lay on, and Riley was sitting on a couch, and I gave him a little trash can, and he was sitting over the trash can, you know, like you're sitting on his ass, his trash can was between his feet, and he had both of his arms on top of the trash can. He had his head on his arms, so it's like he was facing the trash can, and he was like, I don't want to die, dude. I'm gonna die. I'm like, dude, you're not gonna die, man. You're gonna throw up. You're not gonna die.
And you wake up in the morning.
Yeah, he starts puking hard, just pure liquid, you know, like undigested vodka. And at the meantime, Nate is silent. He's not doing anything. I'm like, okay, Nate's probably okay on the floor. Riley moves the garbage can for a second, and I was like, whatever you do, don't puke on the couch. I remember he leaned over, like he started to lay on his side instead of like forward. He started laying on his side. He puked all over the couch.
Of course.
And I was like, oh, god damn it, why?
Makes it so much harder to clean up.
But then I remember he moved the garbage can and he stood up. Fuck, what did I always say he said?
I can't even remember.
He was like, no. He just said no, and then face planted onto the ground. He was like 6'1". He was a big fucking guy. Like he was just like, no, and just boom, face plant right on the hardwood floor. And I was like, oh my god, he definitely just got a fucking concussion.
Right.
Like I just like went up to him, like I make sure he was like breathing and stuff. He was fine. So I had to take care of Nate. I was like, Nate's okay. I think I laid down for a second or something, and then you started hiccuping. I was like, oh, here it comes.
Here comes puke number one from
Nate's
Nate.
gonna start throwing up, and then so Nate was hiccuping, and I grabbed a little tiny garbage can.
I remember you slid it under me. You cut my lip open.
I tried sliding under you. I smacked you right in the lip on accident. I was like, oh shit, and you started bleeding a tiny little bit. It wasn't like gush of blood, just like a little bit. I was like, fuck. But then you started puking
all over the place.
Just pure fucking vodka. It was just clear liquid just coming. I was using orange liquid, or so the orange and purple.
I think I was with the UV orange.
Orange, yeah.
And then he was with the UV blue.
Orange liquid, and it soaked the entire pillow that he was. Just imagine like a nice white pillow with no pillowcase. It was nice and white, and then it was orange, and that was it. And like so, I was just making sure both of them didn't die. Then I went to bed, and I woke up shortly after, a couple hours, because I heard ruckus. I heard Riley walking down the hallway, and he was like, "Guys, I shit my pants, but I'm too drunk to care."
That was the best quote right there.
Yeah, guys, I shit my pants. He pooped his pants, dude. Like not like a little rabbit turd, but like
not a shark. Like
he just let it go, and like he completely pooped his pants. But then he went right back to bed without changing.
He didn't give a shit.
He laid down in the hallway, and he's like, I'm going to bed. I remember we woke up in the morning. You guys were so hungover. I cooked you guys eggs and.
I remember laying on the porch and just.
On the hot tub.
Oh yeah, hot tub cover. We were right on top of it, and I couldn't even look. I couldn't even open my eyes. And he just made breakfast, and I just looked at it and kind of shoved it in my mouth with my eyes closed.
Yep.
Yeah, it worked.
That was brutal. And Riley, so his clothes were completely covered in puke. Imagine like his t-shirt all the way from like his belly button up to his shoulders was covered in vomit.
Just completely discolored.
He had to take them off and stuff them into a bag. You let him borrow some clothes.
Yeah, I gave him some.
He had to change his underwear in the shower, and there was like a little turd left in the bathroom.
Disgusting.
The thing is, he had to get on a plane that day to go to South Carolina.
Oh my god.
So he was totally shitty hungover, and then had to drive in a car, first of all, which is like the worst, and then take a plane across a couple states. And like, man, I cannot imagine how horrible that must have been.
He was probably just trying to fucking go to sleep on the plane the whole time, I'm sure. Seriously. Even though it's only like an hour and a half flight, like that'd be so miserable.
We stuffed all those like disgusting blankets, pillows, and clothes into the trunk of that vehicle.
Yep. I remember that.
Did your parents ever find that?
Nope. Not as far as I know.
That was great.
I remember I chucked the bottles into the woods and we were good.
Yep, that was one of the most memorable first crazy sort of like drunk experiences that we had.
Definitely.
And we don't advise you underage drinking at all, but we did a lot of it.
Yeah.
We drank. I've been drunk more times underage than I have so far. I've only been of age for like a month and a half, though. It's not really fair.
Yeah, that's true.
But fuck, dude. You know, if you're gonna do it,
definitely drank our fair amount. That's what we get for living in the country, though.
Yeah, we don't live in like the city. You know, we're not like super like liberal kind of do-gooders. You know, just you do whatever you want to do. Have fun. You know.
It's a good story, though. It's one of the best stories for being drunk from us.
Seriously. Yeah. All right, we should focus back on this footage here. I mean, these hallways started to kind of repeat a little bit.
Right.
It's not a huge building.
Basically seen the extent of what we found. I mean, there's a couple... I think the tub might be in this part of it. Deer.
The vulture.
Oh.
We gotta talk about the turkey vulture.
Yeah, that was pretty nerve-wracking. There's actually, somewhere in here, I'm sure you have at least a piece of it, we found the attic to this building.
Yeah, it's probably coming up. I'll skip to it right now.
Perfect.
Don't even look at the footage. I'll skip to it right now. It's going to be the last bit of footage that we have, if you want to just wrap this up, because we've been doing this for an hour and a half.
Okay, let's wrap it up.
So we saw this, we got to the attic, and it was really nice. It was a nice natural light, really gross
nice
and disgusting in there.
Browns.
But it was cool, because it was like a lot of metal. You see all the insulation, you can see the floor under it. And we heard this noise.
Can we get a little demo of that, Trevor?
I'll put it up. If I can find something, I'll put it up now. That was the noise that we were hearing over and over again.
Terrifying.
That hiss, that fucking like...
For like 10-second periods too, like it just kept going.
It was the most unnatural sounding thing I've ever heard.
Very, very just disturbing, honestly. It's just because it gets your curiosity going, but gets your fear going at the same time.
Yeah, you want to know what the hell could produce that on this planet.
And then turkey vulture.
Yep, turkey vulture.
I remember while we were there, we actually YouTubed on my phone, what does a turkey vulture sound like when it's hissing? And it was identical. It was definitely a turkey vulture. And it's like underneath the floorboards or something, because we could not find a visual on the thing. It was hidden. And so
keep going.
So we're, peeking under with flashlights, trying to get some kind of view on the thing. Couldn't find it at all. But could still hear it. It was pissed until the second we walked in, it was pissed, all the way to the second we walked out. You would not believe it. But anyways, that was terrifying. We went out on the roof. I remember Trevor went out for a second, and instantly I hear him, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, and there's a fucking turkey vulture flying away at that moment. So I think that might have been his brother, his cousin, or his kin, who knows.
It was some sort of relative.
Right. But that was fun. It was definitely the peak of the journey, because everything was so repetitive, and then all of a sudden, some unknown creature, so it was pretty scary.
By the way, the whole time he was talking, I was pissing into a bottle. But yeah, it was seriously terrifying. And you said that the day before, you and Dan were in the same building, same area, and he saw the vulture.
Allegedly, he saw
I'm sure he did. He wouldn't make that up, because, we heard the noise. He realized it was a vulture. We then proved that, yes, vultures make that
Definitely
noise.
was.
So he definitely saw it. So as soon as I walked out the roof, I saw it flying. I was like, holy shit, I got really scared. Like, I yelled. And they said that was right as he heard, the flapping, the...
Yeah, it just started, flying away off the roof, so...
There had to be multiples.
Oh, yeah.
Because that one that we were hearing was definitely under some shit.
It had to have either had a nest or was injured or something.
I was thinking, best guess is a nest.
That's what I'm thinking, because they get territorial, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he hiss? We're intruding on him.
Yeah. If you're still listening at this point, it's been probably, I would say, an hour of good footage, usable footage, because 26 minutes of bullshit. We really don't have too much more to say about this, because we have to get going.
We'll throw a clip into the deer at the end, because that was pretty interesting.
Yeah. As we were leaving, we saw this deer had what do you call them? A velvet?
Yeah, he still had velvet on his antlers.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. It was just a nice ending to the whole thing. Nice little conclusion. As soon as we pop our heads up, walking out of the exit, we're like, oh shit, there's a deer chilling there.
Yeah.
And he was just kind of moseying around, eating some foliage.
He stood still for a while. I got really good footage of him. He was a nice deer, He wasn't
skittish.
Too scared. Yeah, out in the country, you hardly see deer. That's on the side of the road.
I think he's just used to seeing people in cars.
He's
he was definitely not frightened by us.
He's a city dude. Yeah. Total city dude. It was cool. But anyway, so do you have anything else to say? Or we just want to wrap it up?
That's about it. I think we can wrap it up. That was our couple of days of fun, especially today. That was a good time.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Hopefully we presented our story in an entertaining fashion.
I hope so. And if you happen to remember talking about Mr. Shoe's Pizza and the smells of it.
Yes.
We did stop by there at the conclusion of our trip for a little grub. Yeah. It was fantastic.
It was just a little pizza shop that was right next to this abandoned place that we just explored, and totally worth it. Mr. Shoes, just a little shout out, you know. We're just gonna shout out all the restaurants that we go to during these adventures. Why not?
There will be plenty, I'm sure. Just like hands.
Yeah, we love to eat. But yeah, so that's really about it. So
exactly. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Follow us on Instagram. The watermark has been on screen the entire time.
Hopefully you notice that.
Hopefully you can see that. Subscribe to this channel on YouTube if you want to hear us rant and talk about more bullshit. If you're into urban exploration and you're from the Rochester area or even like New York, like Long Island,
always want to know.
We can travel. Yeah, we have the accessibility to be able to travel. So
that's why it's called social media. Socialize with us. We're looking to talk to.
Yep, I think the best way to contact us, probably Instagram,
email, whatever. I don't.
Yeah, like if you're not too familiar with YouTube, if you go onto our main YouTube channel and then you go to the About section. If you click on for business inquiries, use that email. Even if you're not trying to solicit any business, if you just want to hang out with us, and if you're serious, and you have a vehicle, and you're not 16,
you're not gonna be looking for a ride everywhere.
Yeah, if you're not 15 years old and you're trying to actually explore some places, or at least like do photography with us, or if you want to just fucking chill, contact us that way. We'll respond, guaranteed. Anyway. So that's about it. I'm Trevor.
I'm Nate.
And this was the Trek to Podcast. Have a great day!